the jolly baker, and the singing bread. In the heart of the cozy little town of Sweetwood, where the streets smelled of cinnamon and sugar, and the air was always filled with the cheerful chatter of happy people, there stood a bakery unlike any other. It was a charming little shop with a bright yellow door, a striped awning, and a sign that read, "Mr. Pumpernickel's Magical Bakery, where every loaf sings." It was not just a clever name. The bread in Mr. Pumpernickel's bakery truly did sing. Every morning, just as the sun peeked over the rooftops, the sound of warm, buttery voices filled the air, and the people of Sweetwood knew that fresh loaves were ready to be served. Mr. Pumpernickel was the jolliest man in town. He had twinkling eyes, round, rosy cheeks, and a big belly that jiggled when he laughed, which he did often. He loved nothing more than baking bread and seeing the joy it brought to people. Every morning, long before the town awoke, he would roll up his sleeves, tie his blue apron around his waist, and begin his magical work. He mixed flour, water, and yeast in a big wooden bowl, humming a happy tune as he kneaded the dough with his strong hands. But the real secret to his bread was something special, something passed down from his grandmother, who had always told him, "A happy loaf makes a happy home." That secret was a pinch of magic and a whole lot of love. As he worked, he would sprinkle just a little bit of magic dust over the dough, patting it gently as if whispering a lullaby. Then he shaped the loaves, placing them carefully into his great golden oven. The moment the oven door closed, the magic would begin to work, and as the dough baked, the loaves would slowly come to life. They would stretch and rise, turning golden brown, and just when they were baked to absolute perfection, they would burst into song. The melodies were soft and cheerful, floating through the bakery and out into the streets, drawing people in like a warm hug. One crisp autumn morning, as leaves of gold and red danced through the air, a little girl named Lily and her younger brother Max were strolling through the town square when a delicious scent tickled their noses. Lily stopped in her tracks, her eyes widening as she took a deep breath. "Do you smell that?" she asked excitedly. Max, who had the biggest sweet tooth in town, sniffed the air and nodded eagerly. It smells like warm honey and fresh butter." He grabbed his sister's hand. "Let's go." As they stepped into the bakery, a wave of warmth wrapped around them like a soft blanket. The wooden shelves were lined with golden loaves, plump rolls, and pastries dusted with powdered sugar. The air was thick with the smell of vanilla and cinnamon, but before they could even admire the delicious treats, Mr. Pumpernickel clapped his flour-dusted hands together and whispered, "Shh. Listen carefully." The bakery grew silent. Lily and Max exchanged curious glances before focusing on the large golden oven at the back of the shop. At first there was nothing but the crackling of the fire inside, but then, all at once, a soft, cheerful melody filled the room. "La la la, we're warm and toasty, golden brown and oh so roasty." Max's jaw dropped. Did the bread just sing? Lily's eyes were as wide as saucers. "That's amazing." Mr. Pumpernickel chuckled, his belly shaking with delight. "Indeed it did. My dear children, my bread only sings when it's baked to perfection. That's how I know it's ready." Just then, with a little pop, a fresh loaf leaped right out of the oven and landed softly on the wooden counter. It wiggled and swayed, its crust crackling as if stretching after a long nap. Then, with a happy little sigh, it burst into another tune. "Butter us up, take a slice. We're the bread that's oh so nice." Lily and Max burst into laughter, clapping their hands in delight. "It's so cute," Lily giggled. Mr. Pumpernickel took a knife and carefully sliced the loaf, revealing its soft, fluffy inside. He spread a thick dollop of golden honey onto each piece and handed them to the children. "Go on, try it," he said with a twinkle in his eye. The moment Lily and Max took their first bites, their faces lit up with joy. The bread was warm and soft, with just the right amount of sweetness. Lily let out a dreamy sigh. This is the best bread I've ever had." Max nodded excitedly, his mouth still full. "It's like eating a hug," Mr. Pumpernickel beamed. "That's because it's made with love," he said proudly. Just then, The little bell above the bakery door jingled as more people peeked inside. Word had spread quickly, and soon the shop was filled with curious townsfolk, eager to hear the magical singing bread for themselves. "Welcome, welcome!" Mr. Pumpernickel greeted them cheerfully. Come in, today's loaves are in full song." One by one, customers gathered around the oven, watching in awe as the warm, golden loaves sang their happy tunes. The bakery was alive with music and laughter, and for a moment, it felt as though the whole town was dancing along with the bread. As the day went on, Lily and Max stayed by Mr. Pumpernickel's side, watching him work. They were fascinated by the way he mixed, kneaded, and shaped the dough with such care. Finally, Lily couldn't hold back her curiosity any longer. "Mr. Pumpernickel," she asked, "how does your bread really sing?" The jolly baker knelt down beside them and whispered, "Would you like to know my secret?" The children nodded eagerly. He leaned in closer and said, "Every loaf is made with a little magic. But the real secret, a baker's happiness goes right into the dough. If I smile while I knead, and if I bake with joy, the bread can't help but sing back." Max's mouth dropped open. "So if I bake with happiness, my bread might sing too?" Mr. Pumpernickel chuckled, his eyes twinkling. "Maybe not at first, but if you keep baking with love, who knows?" From that day on, Lily and Max visited the bakery every morning, eager to learn the art of baking. They helped measure flour, knead dough, and most importantly, bake with joy. And though their bread didn't sing just yet, they knew that one day, if they kept smiling, maybe, just maybe, it would. And so the magical bakery continued to fill Sweetwood with laughter, warmth, and the most delightful melodies, one singing loaf at a time. The end.